This is RTV6 News at 5, working for you.
She just has a huge heart. I can't say anything else about her because it is what it is.
Giving, compassionate, a woman with a big heart. IMPD officer Brianne Leath remembered for making a big impact in such a short time.
She wasn't a hero just for what happened yesterday. She was a hero because you see what she was doing on a daily basis.
She filled many roles in just 24 years. Officer, mother, veteran. But it was all cut short by gunfire as she answered a call to help someone in need. Hearts broken by a tragic loss of life. A woman who made it her life's work to protect and serve others.
It was just about 24 hours ago that Indianapolis learned 24-year-old Officer Brianne Leath died responding to a domestic incident on the east side. This afternoon, one of the many solemn scenes that now follow. Officer Leath's body traveled slowly through the city, escorted by police. Dozens of officers joining her on the journey from the Marion County Coroner's Office to Crown Hill Funeral Home.
We are continuing to learn so much more about this young officer who made such a big impact in just 2.5 years on the force. Our team spent the day talking with people who knew and worked with Officer Leath. We start with RTV6's Megan Sanctorum.
When you hear people in the community talk about Officer Brianne Leath, they talk about her heart. This wasn't just a job for her. She was dedicated and determined to make this city a better place.
We met her about 2.5 years ago. My kids met her at Firefighter for a Day camp on 10th and Post.
Amber Harrison is just one of many lucky enough to meet Officer Brianne Leath, or Officer Bree, as the kids called her.
My middle son, Frankie, actually gave them a piece of paper with my address on it and asked them to come over.
Harrison says she never expected the officers to follow up, but they did. She says Officer Leath was new to the force at the time, just a few weeks into the job. But the rookie took time to get to know the family. She learned Harrison was a recently single mom and having a tough time. So Officer Leath and a few others took it upon themselves to check in on the family often. Harrison says she always made sure the kids had supplies for school, and she even got them a fish for Christmas.
When she showed up, you could tell this is where she wanted to be. She didn't do it because someone told her to. She did it because she wanted to be here. She wanted to make sure that my kids were okay and that I was okay.
She says her son now hopes to follow in Officer Brianne Leath's footsteps and one day become an officer himself. Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
Well, the need to come together is more important now than ever. After losing one of their own, IMPD is asking the public to support its first responders, especially our police. RTV6's Stephanie Wade shares this message tonight.
This loss is felt deeply across Indianapolis. People posting all over social media, sharing their stories of Officer Leath doing good in the community. The head of the Fraternal Order of Police asking people tonight to rally together after losing a beloved officer. An affinity for helping children, Brianne Leath, or Bree as her family says she's known by, also had a son of her own. Her fellow officers, committed to never leave families of the fallen behind, now includes Bree's son.
You don't have to worry about your children or your family. So we will thoroughly uphold that, and he will remain a part of this family. He just inherited thousands of mom and dads. So, yeah.
Her family says Bree had a lifelong desire to serve this community. She not only served with IMPD, but worked in the Marion County Sheriff's Office and was in the Army National Guard. Bree's sisters, mom and dad, all working in law enforcement too. Rick Snyder says she wasn't just a hero for what happened yesterday, but for what she did on a daily basis, fulfilling the image of what he calls a peace officer, a legacy she now leaves behind, all while in these uncertain and difficult times.
Lord, doesn't this show us our need for one another? And if anything, it should drive home this message of unity. And as we've been saying it, we're in it together and through it together. This should be no different. In fact, it should show the value of that even more.
Working for you, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
Snyder says since yesterday, Officer Leath has had an officer by her side overnight at the coroner's office and now at the funeral home. There will be an officer with her until she is laid to rest. Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb is also expressing sorrow at the loss of Officer Leath. He noted that among her many experiences, she worked for 2 years with the Indiana Department of Correction and oversaw the We Ones program for offenders and their newborns. The governor said, in her words, she learned as much from them as they learned from her.
She was special by any definition of the word. She was someone who was a role model. She was someone who folks, her junior or senior, looked up to. And we will miss her. And we are keeping her family and her friends in our hearts. Her family also serves the state of Indiana. This is the best among us. And we're saddened by this tragic event. And we will find a way to honor her appropriately in the days ahead.
Funeral arrangements are underway for Officer Leath. With coronavirus and social distancing, there are naturally some special accommodations that will have to be made.
And as we've reported, Officer Leath died after responding to a domestic violence call. And today, IMPD announced preliminary charges of murder and attempted murder against this man. Elias Dorsey is 27 years old. He was taken into custody yesterday after the shooting at an apartment near 21st and Franklin. Police say as officers knocked on the door of the apartment, shots were fired through the structure, striking Officer Leath. Dorsey has no prior criminal record before yesterday's shooting. And a domestic violence survivor says many people have misconceptions about the type of abuse she experienced. She is sharing her story and how you can help others with RTV6's Kara Kenny. We want to warn you, some people may find the images in this story disturbing to see.
We're at Washington and Rural on the city's east side in the 46201 zip code. Indianapolis Metro Police get more domestic violence calls to this zip code than any other part in the city. They say poverty and drug use are contributing factors. The city's Public Health and Safety Office does neighborhood canvassing in high-risk areas to reduce domestic violence. But when people are stuck at home with financial worries, that's making things especially tense. The problem is many people don't realize they're in a domestic violence situation, which can mean emotional, verbal, or financial abuse. Renita Hills is a survivor of domestic violence. These pictures from the hospital are difficult to see, but show just how close she came to losing her life.
But a lot of times I hear, why don't they just leave? Why don't they just leave? People don't understand that it's a process. To get in that scenario, sometimes you are stripped emotionally and you're stripped mentally. The first time he ever laid his hands on me is when he tried to steal my life. But for 15 years, the Renita I was being stripped away. I was told I wasn't pretty enough. I wasn't smart enough. I was not good enough.
Renita's organization, Voice of the Victim, helps survivors get the tools they need to survive, like financial planning and counseling. Advocates with the city and the Coalition Against Domestic Violence say they can help get victims a safety plan or get to a safe location. If you or a loved one are in a dangerous situation, you can call the state's domestic violence hotline at 1-800-332-7385. That's 1-800-332-7385. Reporting in Indianapolis, Kara Kenny, RTV6.
And you can help by keeping in touch with friends or family via phone, text, or video chat. Ask how they're doing and pay attention if they seem unable to communicate. You can diffuse a situation by removing yourself, like going outside or in another room.
In today's state briefing on the spread of coronavirus, more somber and sobering news. 55 more Hoosiers have died from COVID-19, the largest day-to-day increase in reported numbers to date. 46 of those occurred in the past 7 days. That makes the total number of 300 who have died from the virus in Indiana. 568 new cases have been reported for a total of about 6,900. More than 35,000 people have been tested. We also learned today that more residents of a Madison County nursing home are among those who have died. State Health Commissioner Dr. Christina Bach said 24 residents of the Bethany Point long-term care facility are among the COVID-19 casualties.
This is a tragedy for the families. It's a tragedy for the healthcare staff that grew close to these residents. It's a tragedy for our entire state. And that is why we continue to expand our strike teams and send them into long-term care facilities all across the state.
The State Department of Health is also releasing for the first time a breakdown of COVID-19 cases and deaths by race. National numbers have shown the virus disproportionately affecting African Americans. Although that group makes up only about 9.8% of Indiana's population, they account for 18.5% of positive cases and 19.2% of the deaths in our state. That's in comparison to those who are white, making up 85% of the population, accounting for about 50% of the positive coronavirus cases and 69% of deaths. As of this evening, there are more than 1.6 million positive coronavirus cases around the globe and more than 101,000 deaths. More than 18,000 people have died in the United States. The good news here, nearly 28,000 Americans have recovered.
RTV6 is the station committed to helping Hoosiers who are out of work right now find new jobs. I'm Nicole Griffin tonight with details on a company looking to hire about 250 people.
And changing focus from plumbing to grocery delivery, the workers putting their primary jobs on the back burner to help others.
And it's a bright Friday, albeit very cool. We'll talk about changes to your weekend forecast and show you what's very un-April-like next week.
Of Fishers.
RTV6's Hiring Hoosiers initiative helps connect Hoosiers to job opportunities and resources all across central Indiana. With thousands of people laid off or unable to return to work at this time, RTV6's Nicole Griffin joins us with details on a company that is looking to fill hundreds of positions right now.
Last week, we first told you about the effort by Domino's to fill about 350 positions in the greater Indianapolis area. And since then, they have hired about 100 employees. Tonight, we're finding out the steps that they are taking to protect the employees and the customers during the pandemic and how they are also giving back to the community.
We go around the pizza and we make the crust.
Rogers Galloway started at Domino's as a delivery driver when he was a teenager. Now he's an owning partner and the head of training for franchises in Indianapolis. Over the last week, he's conducted dozens of interviews.
There's people out there that are fully trained to run full restaurants that don't have work right now.
As Domino's stores see an increase in carryout and contactless delivery orders, they need to fill open positions from drivers to managers.
Sales are up some. Hiring is way up.
Amanda Lyons is the general manager of the Domino's on Guilford Road in Carmel. She's worked for the company for 30 years.
I'm mother hen. I'm taking care of my crew. We're cleaning, sanitizing, washing.
Domino's is also focusing on giving back to those working on the front lines. Every store in the Indianapolis area is giving away 200 pizzas to their local communities.
What this store has done is amazing. They've fed the day shift at the hospital, the night shift.
We're trying to make sure that we're taking care of them like our company's taking care of us, because that's who we are.
They want to show healthcare, grocery, and other essential workers they are appreciated. But that also means their work is increasing and they need to fill around 250 positions as soon as possible. Working for you in Carmel, Nicole Griffin, RTV6.
And right now on the RTV6 News app, we have details on how to apply for the jobs at Domino's. It's as simple as texting the word Dottie. That's DOTTIE, Dottie, to 97211. Again, that's 97211. That's how you can start the application process. Domino's is just one of the many companies hiring right now. For a list of several other job opportunities, head to our website, hiringhoosiers.com. Purdue University's College of Pharmacy is allowing students to graduate early to help cover a potential shortage of pharmacists during the COVID-19 pandemic. This will put 144 students into the workforce early by granting them certification. A week from today, the students will be eligible to begin working as graduate pharmacists until fully licensed.
For some people, going to the grocery store is too risky for their health right now. RTV6's Kelsey Anderson shows you how a local company is working together to help those in need.
HVAC and plumbing are considered essential businesses right now. But for the folks at William Comfort Air and Mr. Plumber, they have stopped doing preventative maintenance, saying that's not essential right now. And they're hoping they can help stop the spread of COVID-19. But they still want their employees to get a full week's work, so they've come up with a new plan to help the community.
We don't want to be part of the problem with COVID-19 and the spread of it. We want to be part of the solution.
Matt Tyner is the director of marketing for Williams Comfort Air and Mr. Plumber. He tells me during this pandemic, they want to give back.
This is a time for us to stop just being HVAC technicians or plumbing technicians.
Tyner tells me because they have stopped doing non-essential appointments like preventative maintenance, tune-ups, and inspections, they need to find a way for their employees to still get a full week's work.
We'll do free grocery deliveries for anyone within our coverage area that is considered high risk.
He tells me they've also added doctors, nurses, and first responders to the list of people they'll deliver to. If you live in their service area and want to take advantage of their offer, all you have to do is call.
We just ask that people go place their order as normal on Kroger Click List, Meijer Curbside, Walmart, Target, place their online orders like usual. Write down the information, the confirmation number, and store location. Give our team a call.
Tyner says the only thing they ask is that the pickup time is set between 8 and 5, Monday through Friday.
We're here for whoever needs us.
Again, make sure you are writing down the confirmation number and the store location, so when you call Williams Comfort Air, they know where to be so they can help you in the best way they know how. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
And we want to share more stories of how we are all working together at this time. Share your tips with us at Working For You at RTV6.com. And now to your Storm Team 6 forecast, and definitely chilly for April and breezy too, Kevin.
And Amanda, I know you don't have a window in the studio. Consider this your window. A mixture of clouds and sunshine. That's a cool northwest wind, but we're dry this evening, 49 degrees. If you've got yard work to do, you've got until late afternoon tomorrow before our rain chances increase once again. The story of this 7-day forecast, as you'll see, is going to be cooler than average temperatures. Okay, the clouds are retreating. They're in the eastern portion of the state. The rest of central Indiana is clear or generally clear, and that, along with winds that calm down, sets the stage for a frosty night tonight. Temperature dropped to 35 this morning, but we didn't have frost because the wind kept the atmosphere mixed up. That coldest air was not able to settle right to ground level. 53, that's our warm spot in Bedford, our warm spot in quotes. Remember, you were at 82 just the other day. Temperatures are in the upper 40s in Crawfordsville, Tipton, and Peru as well. For the evening hours, if you're headed out for a walk in the neighborhood, temperatures falling into the lower 40s. It's dry. Check out Buster. He is with the times. Rick and Kay Call doing what they can to stay safe and still have some fun. And I was reading how fostering pets has exploded as people are at home and fostering animals and enjoying the experience. The winds, they're out of the southwest and strong during the day tomorrow, but it's colder direction right now. Southwest at 25. It will calm down by the morning hours. There are your temperatures in the morning. Cold enough for frost across all of central Indiana. We'll have several mornings in the 7-day forecast where we'll have either freeze or frost headlines because the growing season has started. Just look around your yard. You can see the flowers that are out there. Tomorrow, dry until late afternoon. Then on Sunday, rain and some thunderstorm chances increasing late in the day. Temperatures in the lower 60s. There are your Saturday highs, becoming breezy. The wind picks up late in the day. Temperatures all around that 60-degree mark. Pretty aggressively between 5 and 7, this forecast model brings back some rain into central Indiana. That pushes to the north, as you can see. Then as we round out the weekend on Sunday, Easter Sunday, temperatures will be in the lower 60s. I'll point out strong risk of severe weather down along the Gulf Coast states. As you come north, we would be on the northern fringe of that in central Indiana. And we'll keep an eye on our severe weather threat on Easter Sunday. It would really be late in the day. Look at Monday, Tuesday through Friday, every day. High temperatures only in the 40s and most mornings in the 30s, if not a little colder. 28 on Thursday morning. Go like this if you don't like seeing that.
I don't. I'm going to just do this for the rest of it.
All right.
Thank you, Kevin. And hopping into a weekend with a special sighting, we'll take you to this intersection where a traditional spring icon made an appearance.
Keller and Keller, right now.
Well, this was quite a sight on US 31 in Franklin. The Easter Bunny made an appearance at the intersection at US 31 and Jefferson Street. There was a lot of waving at young kids unable to visit at the Parks and Recreation Center due to COVID-19. The Big Bunny provided plenty of smiles on this Good Friday.
Good to see there. We know IMPD officer Breanne Leath had responded to a domestic violence call when she was shot and killed. And tonight at 6, Kara Kenny with a story affecting countless households around central Indiana.
A survivor of abuse wants to clear up a big misconception about domestic violence. I'm Kara Kenny with what she wants you to know.